It was a bright Monday morning in suburban Georgia when Marcus Bennett pulled into the parking lot of one of the most prestigious luxury car dealerships in town. The sun gleamed off the polished hoods of BMWs, Mercedes, and Audis, lined up like status symbols ready for display. Marcus, dressed in a crisp navy blue suit, stepped out of his modest but well-kept 2010 Honda Accord and adjusted his tie. He wasn't here to browse, he was here to buy, and not just any car. He had his eye on a brand new silver Mercedes-Benz S-Class, fully loaded, top of the line. Marcus had worked hard for this moment. Years of sacrifice, late nights, and relentless discipline had paid off. A successful software engineer and recent app startup co-founder, Marcus had finally made it big. This car wasn't just a reward, it was a symbol, a personal milestone. But as he approached the dealership doors with confidence, something changed. The receptionist, a young white woman seated at the front desk, looked up from her computer. Her friendly smile faltered. She quickly looked Marcus up and down, then leaned over and whispered something to a nearby salesman. He glanced up, narrowed his eyes, and then strode over. "Can I help you?" the man asked, his tone clipped. "Yes," Marcus replied calmly. "I'm interested in the S-Class you have out front. I called earlier this morning." The salesman raised a skeptical eyebrow. "You called? What name was that under?" "Marcus Bennett," he said, extending his hand. The salesman didn't shake it. Instead, he looked Marcus over, then asked, "Do you have financing lined up?" "I'll be paying in cash," Marcus said, unfazed. That's when the salesman laughed. "You'll be paying in cash," he repeated, loud enough for others in the showroom to hear. A few heads turned. Marcus nodded, pulling out a sleek black leather wallet. "Would you like to see proof of funds?" But the man didn't answer. Instead, he stepped back and murmured something into a walkie-talkie clipped to his belt. Moments later, 2 police cruisers pulled into the dealership lot. Marcus stood still as the officers approached, his body language calm, his mind racing with a sinking sense of déjà vu. The dealership manager met them outside. "We had a suspicious individual come in," he told the cops, "claiming he wants to buy a 6-figure car with cash. No credit, no appointment. We just wanted to be safe." The officers turned to Marcus. "Sir, can we speak with you?" Marcus sighed. He reached into his jacket pocket slowly, showing his ID, business card, and the same bank statement. "I called ahead. I'm here to buy a car. Nothing more." One of the officers took the documents and reviewed them, while the other kept an eye on Marcus, hand never straying too far from his holster. The dealership manager scoffed. "You expect us to believe he's here to buy a car like that? Look what he drove in." Marcus looked the man dead in the eye. "That 2010 Accord? Bought it used in college. Took care of it. I didn't want to upgrade until I earned it, and now I have." The officers, having seen everything they needed, handed Marcus his documents back. "Sorry for the inconvenience, sir," one of them said. "No charges, no questions, no apologies from the dealership." As the cruisers pulled away, customers in the showroom had begun to notice. Some looked uncomfortable. Others simply watched. Marcus turned to the salesman and the manager. "I'll take my business elsewhere," he said flatly. But before he could step out, another voice called out from across the room. "Wait, sir, please." A tall, sharply dressed black man approached him quickly. "My name is James Calloway. I'm the regional director. I saw what just happened, and I am deeply sorry." Marcus stood still, arms crossed. James continued. "That behavior does not reflect our values. The salesman has been dismissed. The manager will be facing corporate consequences. Please, allow me to personally assist you, or refer you to another dealership where you'll be respected." Marcus exhaled slowly. And what if I hadn't stayed calm? What if the officers weren't reasonable? What if I had been arrested, or worse, for trying to buy a car? James nodded. "You're right. This shouldn't have happened. I don't expect you to forgive us, but I do hope you'll let me help make it right." The next day, Marcus went to the recommended partner dealership across town. It was like night and day. The staff welcomed him with respect, asked no foolish questions, and treated him like the successful businessman he was. Marcus purchased the S-Class, paid in full. drove it home that day. But he wasn't done. That evening, Marcus posted the full story on social media. Photos, documents, everything. The post exploded overnight. News outlets picked it up. Local activists staged protests outside the original dealership. Customers left scathing reviews. The company's name was dragged through the mud. And then, something unexpected happened. James Calloway called again, not to apologize, but to offer something else. "Marcus," he said, "we need help. Real help. Would you be willing to consult with us? Help us build actual anti-bias training for our teams? We need someone who understands the lived experience." Marcus didn't say yes right away. He thought about it, long and hard. But eventually, he agreed, on one condition. "I'll help," he said, "but only if this is real change. Not a PR stunt, no press releases, no performative meetings. I want real transformation." A year later, Marcus returned to that dealership, not as a customer, but as a speaker. He led a workshop for the staff, taught them what respect looks like, what unconscious bias does, how to break the cycle. The atmosphere had changed. New faces, better training, new standards. As he parked his sleek silver Mercedes in front of the building, a teenage black boy standing nearby stared in awe. Marcus smiled, walked over and asked, "Thinking about getting one of these?" The boy shrugged. "Just dreaming. People like me don't drive cars like that." Marcus put a hand on his shoulder. "They said the same thing about me," he said. "Don't let them tell you what's possible." And then, he walked into the dealership, not as a suspect, but as a symbol of change. Because when dignity meets determination, even the ugliest moments can be rewritten into something powerful.